weapons for 1,000 deaths. Step up. Step up.
What's going on? Welcome to this Behind the Track for 1,000 Deaths. Today we're going to be checking out the first drop and all its little intricacies. I'm going to be breaking down each of the sections soloed out, and I'm going to show you how I did what I did. Let's hop into it, starting off with the drums here. We've got basic drum rack. Nothing crazy, just a basic drum rack. Super simple beat. Moving into the sound design 1 section, sounds like this. It's got those upper mids and lower, like upper lows, playing really the harmonics of the sub bass, right? It's giving you that fuzz and that robustness of the 808, right? Now we move into sound design 2. Step up. That's where you have the sub frequency, and then the serum sound design or whatever I made these sounds in, and then the screeches, right? And then you just got the vocals.
Step up. Weapons for 1,000 deaths. Step up.
Yeah, kind of noisy vocal, but it worked. So let's hop into sound design 1 here. This is just simply has the 808, like I said, that robustness of it, right? So this is playing everything from 47 hertz all the way to 15,000 kilohertz. All right, for the 808 here, sounds like this. It's in mono, and it's the same copy of the 808 that you're going to see in sound design 2, right? I've got my utilities for you know what. I've got my compressor, sidechain compression, my saturator, and then I've got Cymatics Diablo on here, just doing its thing. And then I've got what's making it sort of LFO. I'm using the Sharon tool. Without the Sharon tool, it's just an 808, right? So now we have that movement. And I'll play it with the drums so it makes sense. So it gives it that flow with the syncopation, as far as like the offset. And then it also gives it the movement, all right? Let's move into sound design 2. So now let's bring in the actual sub frequency of the sub. Like I said, it's an exact copy of the 808 that we just heard, except it's playing everything from 61 hertz to 31 hertz, all right? It's a very small window right here, as you can see. In mono, same stuff as the last patch. Here's saturator, compressor, Diablo, and the sharing tool, because it's an exact copy. It's got to do the exact same thing, right? So now let's kind of solo that in. Now you're going to hear the sub-frequencies of the 808. And now you see that relationship that they have, because what I'm doing here on Sound Design 1 is I'm using thermal. I'm using as a distortion saturation plugin, thermal, on here to sort of beef up these sounds to get the relationship between all these harmonics and some of these low frequencies to kind of fight and clash with each other, and it creates this sort of distorted effect. Without thermal, it's a loud 808 in the first place. Like, it's crunchy like that. Well, I'm not going to say it's crunchy, but it's thumpy like that on purpose. That was a design choice. Now when we turn thermal on, though, it kind of mellows that out so it's not like fucking up the mix, and it gives it a nice distortion quality instead. Now let's bring in the next element here. We're going to talk about, you already know what the screeches are. Like, you can bop with all these small little elements, and that's how you know you got something tight, right? Screech is a 3-piece combo. The Harvester Screech playing the tail, and then the Pork and Bean Turtle Screech combo. Classic combination there. Now let's move into this sustain here, and it sounds like this. And it's made in Serum, okay? I had to boost it up a lot. This up 24 dB, 24, 25, 26. 26 dB of gain here with utilities. It's playing nothing under 383 hertz. It's pretty wide. And then I'm using Little Radiator from Sound Toys to really, really give it some heat. Without Radiator, with it. It gives it a little bit more volume and a little bit more positioning inside of the mixdown, okay? Now, if we open up the patch here, like if I just play the sound. It's a stupid, wizardy sounding sound, right? And it's my circlet sound here. Wave terminal. I believe we might have made this on TikTok. I don't know. But it's the wave terminal, no oscillator B with a comb filter. Without the comb filter. With the comb filter. Comb filter really did the business right there. Now, compressor, multiband, threshold is back, volume and girth, reverb, just for that little tail, and then cutting off all the low frequencies with an EQ. And there's the sound. You know, it's got FM from B that's barely working, a unison of 2, which is what's making it wide. Without the unison, see the difference? Now it's playing in mono. Doesn't sound right. Now put it back in stereo with that detune. That means oscillator A is playing 2 instances of itself, and they're detuned slightly out of place of each other, which makes it sound like it's got a little bit more width, okay? That's the sustain. I'm a basic person, simple man, all right? Now let's move into the next sound. Sounds like, oops, like this. So if we talk about this, really cool sound, right? Utilities for volume and all that, you know what it does. It's not playing anything under 174 hertz. Got this overdrive for a little bit of digital tinge. Yeah, use overdrive, baby. It does things. All right, let's open up the serum patch itself here. Inside of the serum patch, Chains of Sorrow, you guys should be getting this patch, or you guys should already actually have this patch. Weow, basic shapes. I believe Weow is a stock wavetable. I don't know. My serum's weird. No FM from B, no nothing on the B warp or the A warp. Got an MG low 12. Only activated for oscillator A. It sounds like it's not even really doing anything, but I think it adds a little bit of that like wobble facilitation. Now, we move into the effects, which is where this is really, really doing its thing, okay? We got the hyperdimension, which is what's making it a little bit wide without it. Very slight, okay? Because I want it to play down the middle. Now, the distortion with a diode 2 without the distortion. Now, with the distortion. It really does its thing because of that. You've got that resonance happening right there. Then it's filtering out a lot of those frequencies. So you're getting this really, really sick. And I bought those frequencies back in at the end with this EQ. I raised up the gain to give it a high share of 4.9 dB. Because you see here, this is cutting off all the highs, right? To, you know, give you a little bit of harmonics, right? But we got to bring those highs back in the end with an EQ. So that's the point behind that. Then I'm using this comb filter. Ooh, that's a sick sound too. Ooh, it's a little bit. Now with the filter, that's the sound I went for. What would the song sound like without that? We'll see. If we play it without the filter, it doesn't work because I'm playing it really fast. You see that? I'm going. Doesn't sound right. There's too much going on in the mix. So with the filter, it gives it that sort of bark, right? So now you can hear it in the mix. See? Small details. Brings everything together. And then we've got a reverb, which is giving it that nice tail. So the bark is in a room. And sub oscillator's on direct out, which means the sub is not being affected by any of these effects going on here. So the sub oscillator is not being affected by the distortion. It's not being widened by the hyperdimension. It's not being compressed by the compressor. Just straight up sine wave at a level of 75%. And it doesn't even matter because I'm cutting it out anyway. It's not playing anything under 174 hertz. So that is that sound. And then you've got this sound right here, which is just a basic sound. Overdrive's on here. It's not playing anything under 121 hertz. Basic sound, squelchy 2, basic shapes, FM from B combo with a comb filter. Without it, with it, yeah, I don't know, it's not really even doing anything because the cutoff is so damn low. And distortion with diode 2, compressor, multiband, throw the threshold back. This is a simple sound. And then what's making it go wah, wah, the actual like, that is because LFO2 is modulating the level of oscillator A and B. So it's turning the volume up and down in such a way at quarter notes, triggered to the tempo of 140 beats per minute, and that's going. So yeah, that is the first 4 bars of the drop here on 1,000 Deaths.
Fuck around and find out.